Okay, now let's study the types of xylem. Xylem is divided into two types on the basis of their origin, of its origin. That is two types, that is primary xylem and secondary xylem. Primary xylem and secondary xylem. Okay, let's study primary xylem first. So primary xylem is the xylem which is originated from procambium. It is originated from procambium and it is developed during the development of primary parts of plants. So primary xylem is developed inside the plant during the development of primary parts of plants. That is nothing but primary growth of plant, and that too during the initial stages of primary growth of plant. So this primary xylem is developed during the development of primary parts of plant. Development of primary parts of plants. Primary I am representing here like this. Primary parts of plants. Right. Now this primary xylem is divided into two types. They are protoxylem and metaxylem. They are protoxylem and metaxylem. So protoxylem is the first formed xylem and metaxylem is the laterally formed xylem. So protoxylem is first formed xylem and metaxylem is laterally formed xylem. First formed xylem and metaxylem is laterally formed xylem. Laterally formed xylem. Okay, next coming to protoxylem. So this protoxylem consists of trachary elements, that is vessels. Vessels I am writing as V. Vessels, tracheids are present, which are together called as trachary elements, and even xylem parenchyma is also present. But so vessels are present, tracheids are present, xylem parenchyma is also present, but xylem fibers are absent. Why these xylem fibers are absent? Because actually primary xylem is developed during the initial stages of primary growth of plant body. So that time the size of the plant, that height of the plant might be very short, very short. So in case of in case of the plants which are dwarf, they do not require much mechanical strength. When they do not require much mechanical strength, fibers are not required and hence fibers are not developed. What is the function of fibers? Xylem fibers actually, xylem fibers, they are involved in providing mechanical support. Mechanical support is required for tall plants. So here the plant is very short. When the plant is short, mechanical support is not required by the plant and hence fibers are not developed. Okay. Now coming to metaxylem. In this metaxylem, all vessels, tracheids, xylem parenchyma and even fibers are also present. All the four components of the xylem are present. Next coming to protoxylem. So in case of protoxylem, these trachary elements are smaller in size. What are trachary elements? Vessels and tracheids together are called as trachary elements. These trachary elements are small sized. They are smaller in size and they are with narrow lumen. Small sized and the lumen is very narrow, with narrow lumen. Narrow lumen. I am writing narrow as N. Narrow lumen. Why this lumen is narrow? Because during the development of this primary protoxylem, the size of the plant might be very small. In case of small sized plants, conduction of water which is required, transport of water which is required might be very less. So as there is requirement of less amount of water conduction, so lumen present in these trachary elements of the xylem will be narrow. Okay. Next, in case of metaxylem, the trachary elements are large sized and with broad lumen. Large sized with broad lumen. Broad lumen. I am representing lumen with L. Right. Next, coming to protoxylem. So the xylem elements present in this protoxylem consists of stretching ability. They can stretch. Stretching ability is present in the xylem elements of stretching. Ability is present in case of xylem elements of protoxylem. But here stretching is absent in case of the xylem elements of metaxylem. And one more point I would like to discuss. So the thickenings, cell wall thickenings of tracheids and vessels in case of protoxylem are primitive type of thickenings. In case of metaxylem, the cell wall thickenings of tracheids and vessels are advanced type of thickenings. What are primitive type of thickenings? Annular thickenings and even spiral thickenings are primitive type of thickenings. Advanced type of thickenings are three types. What are they? Reticulate type of thickenings, then scalariform thickenings and pitted type of thickenings. Among these three types, most advanced is pitted type of thickenings, right? So this is about the different types of primary xylem, that is protoxylem and metaxylem. Okay, and this xylem, protoxylem, is again of two types on the basis of arrangement of this protoxylem and metaxylem. So on the basis of arrangement, of this protoxylem and metaxylem, arrangement of proto and metaxylem, this primary xylem is of two types. Primary xylem is of two types. What are those two types? They are exact type of xylem and end-arc type of xylem. Primary xylem is of two types, right? They are exact type of xylem and end-arc type of xylem. Exact type of xylem is the primary xylem, which consists of protoxylem towards periphery, eggs towards periphery. So protoxylem elements, first formed xylem elements, are towards outer side, whereas metaxylem elements are towards inner side. Metaxylem, large sized xylem elements, are towards inner side. So exact, if protoxylem is towards periphery and metaxylem is towards center, that is called exact type of primary xylem. So here development of primary xylem is taking place from periphery to towards center. Periphery to towards center. Protoxylem is towards periphery. Metaxylem is latterly formed xylem, which is towards center. So development of exact type of xylem is from periphery to towards center. And this type of development of xylem is called as centripetal type of xylem development. So centripetal type of xylem, that is primary xylem. Now coming to end-arc xylem. Okay, exact xylem is present in roots, both monocot and dicot roots. Both monocot and dicot roots consist of exact type of xylem in their vascular bundles, vascular tissues. Next, coming to end-arc type of xylem. In case of end-arc type of xylem, primary xylem is towards center, protoxylem of the primary xylem is towards center and metaxylem is towards periphery. Like this, metaxylem is towards periphery. That means development of xylem is taking place from center to towards periphery. So center to towards periphery. So what type of xylem it is? Centrifugal type of xylem. So this centrifugal type of xylem is present in stem, that is both dicot and monocot stem. Both dicot and monocot stems consist of centrifugal type of xylem. So this is all about primary xylem. Now let's study secondary xylem. So types of xylem. Xylem is of two types on the basis of origin. That is primary xylem and secondary xylem. Primary xylem is developed from procambium during the development of primary parts of the plant. And it is of two types, protoxylem and metaxylem. First formed xylem, protoxylem. Lately formed xylem is metaxylem. Here in protoxylem, vessels, trachees, that is trachy elements. Both the trachy elements are present. Xylem parenchyma is present, but fibers are absent. In case of metaxylem, all the four components of the xylem are present. Next, coming to the trachy elements of the protoxylem are smaller in size and with narrow lumen. And the trachy elements of this metaxylem are large in size and with broad lumen. And the stretching ability is present in the xylem elements of protoxylem. Stretching ability is absent in the xylem elements of metaxylem. Right. Okay. Based on the arrangement, this arrangement of proto and metaxylem. Primary xylem is of two types. They are exarch type of xylem and endarch type of xylem. Exarch means if the primary xylem is towards periphery. You always remember about primary xylem. Protoxylem. If the protoxylem is towards periphery, that is exarch. If the protoxylem is towards center, that is endarch, right? Okay. Next, coming to secondary xylem. So secondary xylem is the xylem which is developed from vascular cambium, during secondary growth of plants. During what? During secondary growth of plants. Secondary growth of plants. Right. In the secondary xylem, two systems are present. They are axial or also called as vertical system, which is also called as vertical system. And another system is radial system, also called as horizontal system. So axial or vertical system of secondary xylem is nothing but which is in vertical manner. That is called vertical or axial secondary xylem. And radial means which is present horizontally inside the plant organs. The xylem which is present horizontally inside the plant organs is called as horizontal system or radial system of secondary xylem. So horizontal. Okay. So what are the xylem elements present in this axial system and radial system? In axial system, all the xylem components are present. Their vessels are present, trachees are present, and xylem parenchyma is also present. Here, the xylem parenchyma which is present is involved in only storage of food. It is not involved in conduction of water. It is involved in only storage of food. Right. Next, xylem fibers are also present. Right. Now coming to radial system or horizontal system of secondary xylem consists of only parenchyma, only xylem parenchyma, which is involved in radial conduction of water, sideway conduction of water. So xylem parenchyma, which is also called as ray parenchyma, because it is involved in radial conduction of water. It is involved in storage of food along with storage of food. It is also involved in radial conduction of water. Right? So this is all about xylem. In the next video, I will be starting with phloem, which is second type of complex permanent tissue. Hope you understood all these concepts. Thank you, students.